Following Anthony Joshua's recent loss to Andy Ruiz, I've been thinking about Eddie Hearn's position within his deal with Dazn, and I've just been thinking the last couple of months have been absolute hell for Eddie Hearn. So like the last couple of months, obviously recently we had the Maurice Hooker loss. Obviously, one of his fighters signed with Dazn has lost. Obviously, with Kell Brook's coming to the end of his career. For some reason, he can't secure a fight with Khan. Khan himself has lost to Terence Crawford, and obviously, Anthony Joshua has amassed a huge loss against Andrew Ruiz. If he doesn't win that rematch against Andrew Ruiz, his career could well and truly be over if he has two back-to-back losses with Andrew Ruiz. And that's to say, that's not overlooking the fact that he needs to secure that rematch for that fight to actually happen, because there's a strong possibility that Andrew Ruiz won't fight Anthony Joshua if Al Heyman can find a loophole in the contract that he signed. But I'm just thinking from that type of perspective, if Eddie Hearn keeps going down this path that he's going on, there could be a big chance that DAZN can actually replace him or could actually get rid of him. And in a weird way, it's a catch-22 situation because he's competing with another promoter that's signed with DAZN. Obviously, the promoter isn't signed with DAZN. It's Canelo that's signed with DAZN. But obviously, Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya's promotional companies have got a promotional deal with DAZN. With Anthony Joshua losing to Andrew Ruiz, his marketability has gone down the toilet in the UK and especially in the US. His fight against Andrew Ruiz was an attempt for him to penetrate the American market, and for whatever reason, he just couldn't deliver on the night. And the American fans are more than skeptical against Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua is obviously the flagship fighter for Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Sports stable. So my thoughts are, I'm just wondering what's going to happen if things continue the way they are. It's a very strong possibility that the zone could drop Eddie Hearn in the near future. Now, it's a bit of a catch-22 situation because a lot of people have been speculating that since Eddie Hearn has signed this deal with the zone, his presence in UK boxing has diminished somewhat because of all of the fights that are in the US. The shows in the UK seem to be quite lacking. Now, obviously, if you look at the other fighters that are on Eddie Hearn's stable, for example, Katie Taylor, she had a recent, she won her last fight, but that fight was very closely contested, and a lot of people believe that she lost that particular fight. If you look at Josh Kelly, he obviously took a draw against that Ray Robertson kid. The fact is, the whole stable seems to be falling apart. And now that Joshua has lost, it seems that Eddie Hearn is doing everything he can to actually sign as many heavyweights as he possibly can, just to mitigate the risk of him potentially losing a huge star in Anthony Joshua. So that probably explains the reason why he signed a fighter like Hughie Fury and other types of fighters that in the top 20 that could potentially break through and potentially win a world title. He's trying to circumvent the risk that could be coming if Anthony Joshua does lose his second fight. Now, one thing that needs to be said is, in a weird way, if he does lose his deal with DAZN, if Eddie Hearn goes back to the UK and he tries focusing more of his attention in the British market, he could revive the sport again in the UK. Obviously, it's going to be quite embarrassing for him to actually have to move back to the UK if the zone do drop Eddie Hearn. But in a catch-22 type of way, it might be a good way for him to actually become successful again in the British market and then hopefully find a new star. But it has to be said, with the competition from Frank Warren, obviously Frank Warren's stable is growing as well. This could be a unique opportunity for other promoters to actually obviously seize the moment, because Eddie Hearn in the last several years it seemed to be unstoppable, but the last couple of months everything has just been going downhill from there. Obviously Dylan Whyte failed his recent drug test, and Dylan Whyte was the second best heavyweight on Eddie Hearn's stable, and he seemed like he was going to be the dude that was going to actually might come the closest to actually winning another world title. So it just seems like a total mess at the moment. Like with the Dylan Whyte situation, obviously AJ losing, Kell Brook coming to the end of his career, he can't secure a big fight. it just seems like Matchroom is going down the toilet. So the way things are going, if things continue the way they are, I would not be surprised if DAZN actually do drop Eddie Hearn. His flagship fighter, which is Anthony Joshua, is obviously lost, and even if he wins the world title, wins the title, like the rematch against Andy Ruiz, all the other people in the heavyweight division know he's vulnerable now, so they're going to come and bring their A game. And his main the main reason why DAZN signed Eddie Hearn was because of the marketability of Anthony Joshua. If that starts to go down the toilet, obviously Canelo is going strength to strength, so DAZN could easily just drop Eddie Hearn. And it seemed at one point that Eddie Hearn was going to do big things in America with him signing that $1 billion deal with DAZN. But the way things are going, it kind of seems like it's all going down the drain. But you never know. Things can turn around again in Eddie Hearn's favour. This is boxing. Anything can happen. But this is very testing times for Eddie Hearn at this moment in time. In a weird way, I've got this fascination to see if he can actually pull it off, if he can actually survive. Because for several years, he was in a position where he was just going from strength to strength. When he had Anthony Joshua coming up, and obviously he had his stable, he had this exclusive deal with Sky Sports. It just seemed like this guy couldn't be stopped. Frank Warren was miles behind him in terms of everything that's been going on. Like his shows were not as competitive or as interesting. But now, the way things are going with Eddie Hearn, with Anthony Joshua losing, with Dillian Whyte failing his recent drug test and losing his mandatory position, with Kell Brook actually, he's just not active anymore. It just seems like this could be an opportunity for another promotional entity to take over. Obviously, it might be Frank Warren. Obviously, Al Heyman right now, in my opinion, is the one on top. He's got all the heavyweights with all the belts. So he's the one that controls the heavyweight division at this moment in time. He's got Andy Ruiz. He's got obviously he's got Wilder, and he's just in that position where he can actually make an undisputed fight. So at this moment in time, it has to be said, Eddie Hearn is in a disadvantageous position, and obviously with AJ losing, that potential £100 million mega fight between Wilder has gone down the drain as well, which could have been very lucrative for DAZN. So if DAZN do drop Eddie Hearn, I would not be surprised one bit. So that's just my thoughts on the situation. Tell me what you think below, and obviously subscribe and like this video for more content. Thank you. Bye.